Hey, giving this another try, going through to the complexity of the LCR mix of the DME, dialogue music effects. Occasionally some sounds seem balanced, other times a bit like too complex. One sort of scene kind of like I noticed this years ago, and it's probably about 99.999% of most home theatres. So several years ago I tried turning the levels down. That didn't really make much difference, because generally needs something to basically the film needs remixing, or it was rushed in the first place and needs remixing to sort of balance levels out, because why put sounds that's just center stage. Now, seeing that's all like post sound editing, dialogue, Foley, someone doing maybe breathing sound, that's not even De Niro, that's probably a Foley artist. But, normally in real life you would have a sound of an airplane going right directly behind if it was recorded live. And then you gotta think, what sounds can you hear? Can you hear anything like breathing sound? Probably at the distance away from where the camera is positioned, and if it was like real, no, you wouldn't, because the aircraft, the certain frequency and the sound pressure level it's putting out, even though it's a little bit distant back, it's still got a bit of sound pressure there, and the level of frequency, it would cause audio frequency masking. So film soundtracks are made up in layers of tracks, layers and layers and layers and layers of tracks, and you balance all these tracks, EQ them, go over it, define it, refine it and all that, until you get a nice consistent, wow, it mix. But this one, has the aircraft panning from stage left over the stage right, and then it phantoms as it gets halfway between, left and right. But if I turn levels down and so forth manually, just to gain levels and that, and most AVRs won't go down low enough, most would only go -12, and then, let's see. So if I manually was just, you got to run the bloody movie, fuck's sake. So I just turn the levels down on left and right, and they go down -12, leave it there, go back, unmute. I could just hear some parts of the footsteps, a little bit of the breathing sound. So I'll just put the levels back up 0, and I'll try the dynamic range compressors. Alright, it's still got a bit of bass range and middle range in it. I can just hear that. You just hear the footsteps and a little bit of the breathing. I could go in it more deeper, and then, you know, the microphones all placed up to the, you know, or I can go to direct amplifier, looking at the processing, you know, and but I would need something a little bit more additional, and so I could see all the not the levels but frequency, because it's not just mix overall like a level, which shows the overall whole of the frequency range. I've got to look at the level and the frequency range, because that's what matters. Because you've got to see what frequencies, what parts of the dynamic, what parts of the track, soundtrack elements are causing the audio frequency masking. But I can get the playback of this movie, and it's most popular. I can get this played back here in this THX sound system, home cinema THX, better than probably most out of 99.999% of home theatres, and that's most of all the top ones that are out there, mostly because they just play the movie. They think, oh, they can hear all this other bit of dialogue in the movie and all that, but they're not what I would call deep listeners. I am a deep listener, not for all the stupidity of bass extortion and all that, and then creating a load of audio masking in the bass range, because you've got to have the consistency balanced. Usually you have to rehearse a movie to get it played back at its optimum best. This is one of these typical ones, THX TAP, Theatre Alignment Program. So I don't know what it was like in a THX cinema, so I never saw this in a THX, only a regular with Dolby SR.